If you're enjoying this introduction to Revit, make sure you check out the full beginner to advanced level course on my website, s15studio.com. Continuing on with our roof, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on our fourth building here. We'll come to our 3D view. So there's our fourth building with our basic shape roof. We're going to be looking at various different roof construction types. So when we select our roof, we'll come to our properties palette. We're familiar with our constraints. We'll come down to our construction. So first we have our rafter cut. So currently it's set to plumb cut. And we have options of 2 cut plumb and 2 cut square. And to illustrate what they mean, we will go back to our roof plan. And we're going to place a section view through our building, just pulling back our view so we don't include any other information. And I want to be looking out to the left hand side. Double tap our section view to open it up. Increase the detail level to fine. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach our walls to our roof, and we can do that in our section view. If we hover over one wall, press the tab key, it'll highlight all of the walls. We then click to make the selection, go to our attach top base, click on the roof, and then our walls are now joined to the roof. And next we're going to change the roof type. So we'll select our roof, go to properties type selector. I'm going to change over to the last one, which is roof pitched, 38mm tile, 25mm batt, felt, batt, 100 insulation, and 150mm truss. So here on our section view, we have our wall. There's our brick cavity insulation block. And then we have our 150mm timber truss with insulation above it, and then our batting and tile. Not all details will look like this, so we have the option of changing how the roof interacts with the wall. So we'll select our roof type, come down to the construction. Here we have our rafter cut, and it's currently sitting on a plumb cut. So when we have a plumb cut, we see the rafter coming straight down and cut flush with the insulation and tile. If we change over to 2 cut plumb, we now see the rafter coming in. The rafter sits on top of the block, and then we have our insulation, batting, and tile. Next is the 2 cut square, which will refer to the end point here of our roof, which you'll see in a few moments. So going back to our plumb cut, see we have our overhang sitting on the block, and next down we have the fascia depth, where we can't change the dimension. So there's our fascia point. If we come back to 2 cut plumb, where the rafter is now sitting on the blockwork, if we can now change our fascia depth. So if I change our fascia depth to 200, we can see the rafter coming down, and it's now cut in a plumb style, meaning that it's cut at the same angle as our wall, so a nice 90-degree angle. And if I change over to 2 cut square, we'll see the cut is now perpendicular to our tile face. So depending on your roof, depending on your detail buildup, this is how we can adjust the shape of our roof. I'm going to change back to 2 cut plumb. We'll come down next to the rafter or truss. So within rafter or truss, so the truss and rafter are referring to the roof type. So a rafter is referring to a flat roof type. So our timber will go right across from one block to the other, but the truss will create an angle either side to create our pitched roof. So our roof type is a pitched roof, so we will use the truss type. And so now we're going to create our soffit board, which will sit underneath our roof, and it will close off this area for us. So it will protect our truss and our insulation. And from that, we can also attach our guttering. So we'll go to our roof level. And first thing we'll do is we'll change over wireframe. So we're able to see the edge of our external wall. Next, we'll go to our roof tool, drop down menu, and we have roof soffit. And you'll see our contextual tab is blue, so we have to green tick or red X to complete the task. And how we're going to place our soffit, we'll use the rectangle tool, and we'll go on the outer side of our roof. And the external face of our wall. And once we've done that, green tick to finish. We'll go back to our section 4, and there we've placed our soffit. In our type selector, we only have one soffit available to us, which is the 300mm, and we want to reduce that down to only 30mm. So we will go to our edit type, duplicate, we'll rename it to 30mm soffit. Press OK. We'll then need to go to the structure under construction, press edit, and there's our soffit board. We'll then change our thickness from 300 to 30. Press OK, there's our thickness now at 30, and press OK. Just zooming in, we see that it's not fully attached, so we'll select it, use our move tool, and attach it to the underside of the truss. Now that we've placed the soffit, we just have to finish off the face with a fascia board. So we'll go to our 3D view, and in the roof tool drop down menu we have roof fascia, and in the type selector again we only have one. Go to edit type, and the type that we have is a 19mm by 235, which is what we want to use. And I will show you how to create these profiles further on in the course. So we'll press OK. And now we just need to place our fascia. So when we zoom in, hover over the top edge of our roof, one click to place and one click to place, and we just work our way around the building, clicking on the top portion of our roof. Then when I go back to my section 4, now we have our fascia board connects up to our soffit. So we're now protecting all of this material from the weather. And then finally we'll come to our 3D view, and we'll add some guttering to this roof. So we'll go to the roof tool, drop down menu, roof gutter, and again in the type selector we only have one standard. So we'll come back over, and again we're looking for that solid blue line. One click to place, one click to place, and you'll notice that it'll automatically join together. One click to place, and one click to place. So now we have our guttering running around our building. The rainwater will run into our tile and into our gutter. And lastly, what we can do is we can also add in a drain pipe. So the drain pipe will live in the components section. And if we go to our type selector, we have already loaded in will be a generic rainwater pipe, and it is square. We have 75mm, 100mm, 125, and 150. We want to use the 75mm square. So first thing we'll do is we'll go to our ground level. Come over to building number 4. Then go back to our component. Choose the 75mm square. And we can attach our rainwater pipe in that corner. In the 3D view, there is our gutter. And we can see that it's currently going right through the roof and not connected to our gutter. So we need to just change the height of our rainwater pipe. So we do that in the properties palette. Under dimensions, we have height of rainwater pipe. So if we change that to 3000 or 3 meters, we can see there's our rainwater pipe. We just need to increase that again by another 100 mil. And it's now connected in to our guttering. So there we have created our roof type with a soffit, fascia, guttering, and rainwater pipe. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go back over to our project, and we're going to apply a roof to our project, and it's going to be a split type roof. So essentially we're going to have two roofs, and they'll both be at different angles. And in order to do this, we will go to our ground floor plan first, come back over to our project, and we need to separate this wall into two so we can join it to this inner wall, and we're able to create two different heights of our external wall. And how we do that is we'll select the external wall, go to our split element tool, we then split our wall, then we select the opposite wall, pull it back, and we'll just trim these two walls together, close them up nicely. And what we want to do now is highlight this section, the upper section of our house, and we're going to apply an offset of this to raise that roof up so it's separate from the lower section. So we'll add a top offset in the properties palette of 300. I'm going to come down to my selection toggles and turn off select element by face as it's getting in the way. So we'll come back down to our wall at the bottom. I want to pull it back, but I don't want it to attach. So I need to right click the blue grip, disallow join, and when I drag it back, they won't be connected. So there in our 3D view, we see we have two different levels across our building. And then we will come to our roof level, come over to our project. So we're going to apply a roof to the lower section of our building first. So we'll go to roof, and we're going to choose the pick walls tool. We're going to have define slope turned on. We'll create an overhang of 300, but we'll also change over to this roof type of 125. Once we've done that, we will select the left wall, the lower wall, and the right wall. And once we've done that, after that, we'll come back to the draw panel and choose pick line. In the options bar, ensure that the offset is set to 0. And we select the lower face of that wall. Then use the trim and extend to create our roof type. We'll then green tick to finish and come back to our 3D model. What I'm going to do is close down the east elevation, section 1, ground level, section 2, section 3, and section 4. And we're going to go to our view tab and change over to tile views and have our 3D model on the right hand side so we're able to see what's happening in real time. So now what I want to do is I'm going to change this roof type to only have one slope on one side. And we can do that either in the 3D view, and we can also do it in the roof plan. So double tap. And once we're in the footprint editor, we're going to turn off define slope for these three sides. And we're going to leave the slope on the lower side. and we're going to change the slope to 13 degrees. Enter. So the left side has no slope, the top has no slope, the right side has no slope, the bottom side has a slope of 13 degrees. Green tick to finish. And then in our 3D view, we can see our sloped roof on one of the sides, and we'll do the same for the upper side. So go to Architecture tab, Roof. We'll do the same like we've done on the lower side. So pick walls, defines. We can untick define slope, and we'll keep our overhang of 300, and we'll select the left wall, the upper wall, and the right wall. Then change to pick line, and we'll choose the lower wall here. We'll then tidy it up with our trim and extend. And then we'll select the top line, turn on define slope, and we'll change that to 13 degrees again. With the lower line, what we also want to do is push it down by 300 mil. So we'll select it, use our move tool, and enter 300. Again, we'll just trim and extend, green tick to finish. So here we can see on the right hand side that our roof is sitting lower than it should be because it's attached to the roof level, and what we need to do is we need to give it an offset of 300 mil to push it above the other side. So we'll select that roof, come to the properties palette, under constraints we have base offset from level, change that to 300, and now we have our split roof on our house. Then we need to select our walls. We can hover over one, press tab, then click on the wall to select them. We'll then go to attach top base, select the roof. We'll do the same for the other side. Hover over the wall, tab, click, make sure all the correct walls are selected. Attach top base, select the roof. So here we can see there's a small gap, and the reason for this is we'll come to our ground floor. This wall here is interfering with it, so we need to select the blue grip, right click, disallow join, and then if we pull it back, we no longer have that issue. There we have the basic setup for creating a single-story house. So I'm not going to populate the interior of this project as it's unnecessary at this stage. But if you wish to do that, if you're going over this project again, all we'll do is we'll go to the Architecture tab, go to our Place a Component. If nothing is in the type selector, go to your Load Family. And in here you'll find all of the different components that you can place in your project. So you can place beds, wardrobes, side tables, baths, toilets, kitchens, tables, everything. You can also populate the exterior with trees, cars, and so on. When we get to a stage at the final end of the project, we'll do that in the course anyway, but for now but at this point I want to keep going to show you all of the features first. So we'll save our project, and then I also want you to close down all of the views. You can also go to the top and choose Close Inactive Views, and then we want to close down this project completely.